Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Financially Lit podcast. Today, I have a guest star with us, Jessie Tam. He's actually a small business owner out of Los Angeles. He owns a European automotive shop, and he is actually going to be talking to us about his journey through the cash flow quadrant. This whole video is about the cash flow quadrant as we move from employee to small business to big business. And then eventually, we revamp the cash flow quadrant, and we call the investor quad the actual co-investment, iCovesting, that's the I quad. And we're going to show you exactly how you move from an employee through to the iQuad. So without further ado, guys, welcome Jessie to the show. And Jessie, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Nick?
Doing amazing, brother. Glad to have you.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about this. As far as the cash flow quadrant, what does it mean? There's about 4 sections of the cash flow quadrant, like the employee section, small business section, big business, and investor, right? So the majority of the public is in the E quadrant, the employment quadrant. And then recently, it's more, I guess, more in, or it's just, you're seeing a lot more people do it as trying to create their own businesses, like small businesses.
Yep.
And that's kind of where I'm at. And the exciting part of, as far as iCovest, it gives me an opportunity, a pathway to bridge myself from small business to get into the big business and investment quadrant. Because once you get into that side, that's when you can really do things. When you're on the employment and small business side of the quadrant, you're still trading time for money. And that's not the most efficient way to do things.
Right.
And so here's a background of my story of how I became the perfect employee. And so my background is I had immigrant parents from China. They came straight from a village.
Wow.
A village, and they made it out here to America, right? So I was born in LA, grew up in Arizona. Nice. And what my parents taught me was hard work ethic. And I think about it today, where they came from, a village. It was always about scarcity and saving money. And you can't blame them for that, because if you're just every day, you're not sure where your next meal is going to come, or your family's next meal. You're always going to scrimp and save and hard work. And those are the default characteristics to survive. Mm-hmm. And so it's no wonder that it's been instilled in me. And so growing up as a child, it was always save money. Always, hey, finish all your food, or don't waste nothing. It's always scarcity, always saving. And so growing up, going through the school system, another way they kind of teach you to, hey, follow the rules, don't say too much,
right.
Do this and you will be successful. Same thing from my parents is like, hey, if you work hard enough, don't say too much, follow the rules, you will be rewarded for your efforts.
Yeah.
And in America, that's not the case. And so I did really well in school. Mm-hmm. I did what I needed to do to get good grades, and I got really good grades. However, throughout school, I found out hey, I was actually not that great at studying. I couldn't remember a lot of things, but the sheer hard work that was instilled in me, I still got it done. Yeah. I did my homework. I attended all the classes.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah. And so I made it happen. And to the point where I was into honors classes. I took college classes in community college at the same time I was in high school.
Yeah.
But that being said, as I graduated from high school, all I did was just finished out my community college classes. And after that, I was actually not confident in myself to move on to a university, because I myself knew I was not good at studying.
Gotcha.
I thought I was going to be architect, and I got good grades in math. But once it started going to up to calculus, I'm like, I'm not getting this.
I don't need this for what I want to
and
do. Yeah.
and if I'm not good at math, I can't be an architect. So
Hmm.
heck, what was it like? What do my friends like? My friends like cars, fast cars. It was in back then, Fast and Furious and whatnot.
Nice. Yep.
Um, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna try give this working on cars a chance. And then I went to a trade school, did the same thing I did in school, got good grades,
Yep.
got good grades, did what I have to do,
Yep.
got into a program where it gave me a straight shot to work at a dealership at a
Nice.
really well-paying career. And again, I wasn't really good at that's when the real world hit me. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
man, like you actually have to be good and learn how to make money at this trade. And it took me a very long time, but I was the golden employee.
Right.
I came in early. I did what I was told. Um, I hardly ever called off. I came when the employer asked me to work on my days off. I did,
Damn.
and I did that for almost 12 years.
Wow.
12 years, and so in the
Hard
back,
worker, brother.
yeah, just hard work, but little by little, like on the latter end of my career at the dealership, it
Hmm.
was very disconnected. It was just me in the cars. I wasn't talking to any customers. I didn't want to talk to any customers. I was very introverted. I
Got it.
didn't like, so that can tell you that I did not feel fulfilled in what I was doing.
Right.
I was just a zombie, man. Like I was just doing my thing, like every day, try to do my hours and
Yeah.
spend all day at work, and
Hmm.
I wasn't happy. And then just one day, I don't know why, but I plugged in my earphones, and while I was working, because I can do it like with my eyes closed at that
Right.
point, I started listening to podcasts, podcasts about people just talking about things that they cared about, things
Yeah.
that they cared about, and talking about things that I don't necessarily thought I was interested in, but I've never heard people talk about these things, and they were talking about it in a way that they cared about it. I'm like, oh
Hmm.
wow, that was actually stimulating my mind when I was a zombie for like 10 years as an employee.
Right. Newfound perspective.
Yeah. And so I was never a good reader. I wasn't good at studying. So I was like, I don't read books. I don't do nothing. But hey, if you're not doing something to stimulate your mind, you're not growing. You're
Yep.
stagnant. You're
Hmm.
actually deteriorating, if anything. Like
Exactly.
you're gonna get left behind. And so when I started listening to podcasts, listening to other people's perspective, it opened up my mind to pursue more. There's more to life
Right.
and than just this paycheck. And that's how I was starting to transition from this employee mindset where they keep you down, they keep you enclosed.
Hmm.
And if you want any more for yourself, like your opinion doesn't matter. You know why? Because it's not your business. It's not your
True.
business.
Very, very
And
true.
so as far as employees, if you have an opinion, guess what? Most of the time your opinion gets shot down because it's not your business.
Yeah.
And
That's facts.
the more and more the more and more I learn that that's the way it was, I'm like, okay, so this is what it is to be an employee. You don't get to call the shots.
Yeah.
So what do you got to do to get out of that? You got to have your own business, right? And
Yep.
so at the tail end of my career, um, it got to the point where, hey, my which is now my business partner that I run the automotive repair shop, and he had this business for about 5 years, and he's running it the way that he wants to, not the way a big corporation wants to.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I was having this perspective change, right, through podcasts. And so I kept coming around, and I was like, oh man, like we talked about coming together so we can scale this thing up where you can
Mm-hmm.
come together and do better things versus one person doing it by itself.
Yep.
So in essence, that's kind of where the dealership was. They got a bunch of people making money for them. But as far as like keeping you enclosed and put down, they don't grow their people, right?
Right.
And so it took me 6 months to leave the dealership from when I was starting to talk to my partner. It took me 6 months. That's how like brainwashed I was. It took me 6 months to be brave enough to move to get out of that role.
Yeah. I feel like most people probably would have had the same feeling though.
Yeah, because everybody has the anxiety of they want the secure blanket
Mm-hmm.
of employment.
Yeah, the
Like,
guaranteed paycheck every 2 weeks.
Guarantee. If
Yeah.
you look at it today, being an employee is you're actually gambling.
Yes.
Because you're gambling on the fact that that business is gonna stay afloat, that is gonna
Mm-hmm.
thrive, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't have any say in it. And so at that point, when it was the relationship at the dealership where, hey, all the stuff that used to bother me and got me mad at the dealership, it no longer got me mad because I compartmentalized like, hey, the only reason I'm here is because I'm tolerating all of this.
Yes.
I'm tolerating all of
Big
this.
light bulb switch.
Big light bulb. Once I got that, hey, I'm only here to make a check because I'm on my way out.
Yep.
Like that's when all the stuff that I got mad at wasn't the case. It's not my business. It's their business.
Yeah.
And so I'm here to make a paycheck, that's a little sad because I used to care about what the reputation of the company. I came in all the time,
you were the model employee.
I was the model employee, and
Yeah.
they didn't. And the funny part is they didn't take care of me. The people that talked the most, that complained the most, got paid more than me.
Mm.
And it wasn't until I spoke up for myself that I actually got what I wanted.
Yeah.
Which is another thing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That's when I only have myself to blame for not getting what I wanted. Like when you put the blame on somebody else that dictates your future, you're always going to have complaints. And so that's the transition. Yeah, that's the transition of anything that I got mad at the dealership that I was frustrated was like, sure, they treated people like like crap, but it was always my choice to make it better.
Yeah.
And if you give the employer an opportunity to make it better, and they make it better, awesome. Great relationship.
By all means, right?
By all means. And if they don't make it better, there you go. You have your answer. And the only reason why you would be staying with them is because you tolerate it.
Yes.
You tolerate it.
Yeah, you've settled somewhere. You've settled somewhere in your life, and you've bought into the idea that this is good enough for me, or this is what I need to cover what I need. And maybe you want to, maybe that's not comfortable for you. Maybe that's just where you are and you're stuck and you're trying to get out of that position. You're trying to figure out, do I need more education to get a higher raise of salary? You know, do I need to get more experience to become a manager? Do I need more people on my team as a manager to become a director? Like whatever you're looking to do so that you can climb that corporate ladder and be a higher paid employee. You know, there's easier ways to do it, guys. There's a lot easier ways to do it. You could, and most people don't want to become a small business owner because people hear, you know, most businesses fail in the first 5 years of business, small businesses, right? The majority of businesses don't make it for the long haul. But that's the importance of, one, becoming financially literate, and then two, being able to do it with a team of like-minded people who have already won along these lines, and have them show you and teach you exactly what it is to run a small business effectively, how to operate it effectively, how to make sure your cash flow is right, how to protect your taxable interest, and then ultimately how to grow it so that you can get into the B quadrant, which is, I think that's to the point where I met you, actually. I met you right at a point in your life where you were already in the S quadrant as a small business, and you're trying everything you can to scale it up to this big business in this B quadrant. So the message that we had resonated with you tremendously. And I'm just grateful that we're talking and that we can find more people like you, Jesse.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. And so as I transition from employee to small businesses, here's another thing. People are scared to start their own businesses. It's a scary thing. There's a lot that needs to happen, and you have to have the right mindset to go into it. Luckily, I was privileged to have just a great friend that was already doing it. Like you said,
Yep.
hey, if you don't know how to do it, find someone in your network that's already doing it.
Yep.
And just do whatever they're doing. Take whatever you feel works for you and implement it, because what you were doing is not working. And so I got to be in an environment where I was free to fail, fall flat on my face, and get back up and fall forward. Because if you're not allowed to fail, you're back in the employee zone, where don't let this employee out of this box. Because don't allow him to make mistakes, because the funny part is, like, the more mistakes you make, the more experience you have, the more you know what not to do, the more you grow. And so I recommend everybody to just mess up as much as possible, because that's actually gonna speed things up. And so for about a year and a half now, I've been helping my partner run a small business, and I've played every role. I played janitor, I played receptionist, I played mechanic, I played owner, I played a service writer. I played parts collector. I played a porter. Anything and everything in the business, and I learned every aspect of the business of why everything is important in the business. It doesn't matter how small, or ownership duties, like everything. It takes everything to run a small business. And so that being said, like, if you're able to achieve that and have someone in the game with you to achieve that, and you're finally cash flowing, okay, we're finally making money, we're finally profitable. Now it's the transition of, what are the rich doing that you're not doing? They're keeping more money as much as possible, not necessarily making more money. They're keeping more money, being more as far as pay little taxes as possible, lawfully and legally, or not pay taxes, however it works. But it's not evading the law. It's, it is doing things according to the tax code or outside the tax code, however you do it. And so that iCovesting was the bridge of where I'm at right now. I'm still in small business, but iCovesting gives me a bridge to big business and to a network of people which is big business. Big business is described as a company that runs of 500 or more employees, right?
Yep.
Because
big business
as big business can do a lot more things than a small business can. Big business, you're leveraging 500 people's abilities and talents versus one person's 100% effort, which is the struggles we have as a small business. Like, I'm running around like every day trying to make stuff happen. And it wasn't until I was able to hire more employees, I could achieve more. I could do more great things. So that's my small business box. Now, iCovesting, like, I'm finally I have the opportunity to operate in big business. And once we get big business going and make some real money or capital, that's when you get to play in the I quadrant. Gives you the opportunity to play in the I quadrant, which is what iCovesting gives us the ability to do. And so as that's kind of what my journey is so far. I'm still navigating through it. Like, iCovesting is still building the big business. We're looking for I guess partners, in a sense, not necessarily partners, but cash flow family.
Yes.
Cash flow family.
Both. Partners
Cash,
to cash flow with us.
yep. And it's not where this one person makes a lot of money in big business and then he just gives out handouts. That's not how it
Not at
works.
all.
It's a big business of a bunch of highly effective, productive, producing people that produce.
Exactly.
And when everybody produces, you can move mountains.
Yes, because it's decentralized. It's not
Yep.
like the CEO at the top owns the system and then everybody works for that CEO, like a
Hmm.
traditional B Quad, a traditional big business
Hmm.
corporation, 500 employees or more. It's not like that. We decentralize the business model. So everybody is equal partial owner and beneficiary of the trust that engages with us, that wants to be part of the cash flow family, that opens up an IVA, learns about finance in this way, and engages with their own finance this way. They become a partial owner of our decentralized business model. So as we win, everybody wins. It's a collective effort, and that's what, in the spirit of helping each other and co-vesting, cooperatively coming together to vest our interests in assets that cash flow. That's the whole name of the game.
Absolutely. And so that's the difference now, because a lot of people achieve, I guess, their success as small business, but how long is it sustainable, you know?
Yes.
It takes a lot of moving parts, and it's about maybe 15 to 100 people trying to operate it.
Right.
But the way things are now, like your small business can be taken out
Yeah.
right from the rug can be pulled right from under you. So a lot of
Yes.
people have like multiple small business to mitigate the risk, but that in fact is still like super risky. And
Mm-hmm.
so the secret is to operate as a big business. And so in the meantime, if I can do what I'm good at, is creating cash flow in small business, but also participate in big business. That's how I'm transitioning, navigating through the cash flow quadrant. And so if you want to explain like the differences of the B and I quadrant as far as doing it with iCovesting versus the commercial jurisdiction, or being in the I quadrant just by yourself versus being in the I quadrant in iCovesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So with the B Quad, obviously we're trying to create a system where there's a bunch of people participating together that we can produce cash flow from, right? The cash flow is going to come back to each one of those people in this system. So we're not trading as much time for dollars anymore. We have this built. Well, as you move from the B Quad to the I Quad, not investor, but iCovesting, we're actually taking the cash flow that we got from here and we're going to co-vest it here. Because over here in the B Quad, the more people that you have working for you, the more cash flow that you have, because you're leveraging people's time, talent, and treasure. But when you're in the I Quad, now money equals money. The more money you have, the more money you're able to put towards co-investments, the more money remits back to you. And it's tax accepted, 100% mandatorily tax accepted when we're operating in the trust. That's section 26508 C1A of the IRS tax code. We are mandatorily accepted. Article 1, Section 10 of the US Constitution actually has us accepted as well, because gold and silver are real money, and we use silver as our real money. So regardless of which way you slice it, we're operating on a completely toll-free road. Any money that we generate through the trust is coming back to us toll-free, aka tax-free. So if you have money being generated in a B Quad of some sort, a system that we built of some sort that's remitting us royalties, we'll take those royalties into our individual IVA accounts and we'll put them together towards a syndication so that we can all acquire something that maybe I wasn't able to acquire on my own because I didn't have enough. I needed me, you, 10 of our other friends all squish it together, and then we qualified to go get it. And now that we got it, it's remitting back to us more so than I ever could have done on my own. That's leveraging the economies of scale and other people's money. But you're doing it in a system that is mandatorily tax accepted. So you're reducing your taxable liability as much as possible, lawfully and legally. We're not doing anything illegal. This is exactly how the law works. You just haven't known about it yet, and you haven't taken the steps to be able to operate within it. We're trying to show you, anybody who's watching this video, exactly how to operate in these vehicles. All you have to do is start by opening your iCovesting account. Open your IVA account, come to a CPO meeting, and we'll show you and we'll teach you exactly what it is that we're talking about.
Absolutely. And I'll say this. It's not iCovest is not a thing where, hey, if I just put money into this one account and not do anything, like that's all there is to it. It's not.
Right.
It's not. Like, let's make it clear. We're looking for a cash flow family.
Mm-hmm.
And why I harp so much on my story of moving away from employee to small business is creating something for yourself where you're more fulfilled. But once, and that's what we teach about strategies of how to cash flow. And then everybody that's involved knows how to cash flow. It's not just people, hey, I have this amount of money saved up.
Mm-hmm.
I want to put it in here and just kick back and get rich.
Yeah, that's an investment.
That's not how it works.
Yep.
And that's still kind of operating in well, not necessarily, but small scale. Like, if you want to build something great, you gotta be in the mix with a network of people that have the same mindset. As far as a cash flow family, everybody there is to cash flow. And then when you got over 500 members cash flowing together, and we combine all of that together, that's where we're gonna move mountains. That's when we're gonna do great things. That's when we're gonna be able to free ourselves and the people that you love and care about. And then you're actually gonna find out through this community of people, you just gained a new family, and it's actually everybody knows how to cash flow, and everybody's gonna thrive.
Exactly.
You know, everybody's gonna thrive. So I'll leave that as my last little tidbit. Don't just take your saved money and throw it in there and kick back and expect a return. That's not what you're gonna get here. That's not what you're gonna get here. And if that's what you're looking for, go find a guru that you can pay a subscription to, like to operate in the commercial jurisdiction where you're gonna pay a lot of taxes.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, don't stick with the investments, guys. If you're looking to put your money in something and get a return, come back later and it grew or got better for you, that's solely benefiting you and you alone. That is an investment. You are investing. We are completely different. We're cooperatively investing. The whole point of having an IVA account and putting money into that IVA account and watching it grow as silver appreciates is so that we all can then take that appreciated position and squish it together, so that we can leverage it to acquire some of the cash flows. So that we all win, we cooperatively win together. If that isn't your intention, don't open an IVA account, because we actually don't want your money. We don't need your money. This is not what this is about. We want people. We really are looking for leaders and people that want to grow along these financial lines that can become part of our cash flow family, so we can all win together. If that's what you want to do, then by all means, get in our inbox, hit me up, hit Jesse up, come to a CPO, and we can get off to our races, guys. It's easy to go to icovest.org, go to the website, go to icovest.academy.com, or even go to icovestcapitalgroup.com, and you can interface with us one of these three ways. We're looking forward to seeing you guys on the other side. And until next time, see you later.
Bye.